Hey everybody, so this was a video regarding a topic that a few people have been asking me here and then on my channel because I always try to give my analysis and my input, my predictions for football games without including any of my own biases in, and I rarely talk about uh, teams that I like to see succeed or teams that I usually root for. So I decided to make a video answering some of your questions regarding the teams that I personally support in soccer. So at the club level, I support two teams. First, in domestically here in the United States, I support Portland Timbers. I'm not from the city of Portland or even the state of Oregon itself, but I love the city of Portland. It's a great place. It's really chill and laid back, and I went there a few times with a few friends. Oregon is a really awesome state. It has a lot of nature, a lot of good camping and hiking trails, and I got a chance to watch the Portland Timbers play once live, and just the crowd atmosphere was amazing. I loved it. They really, 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 really love soccer up in the American Northwest in the Pacific region. Um, them and the Seattle Sounders as well. They have a regional rivalry going on. I also like the Seattle Sounders, but my favorite team in the MLS are the Portland Timbers. Uh, Internationally, clubs, I support Bayern Munich. I have always supported Bayern Munich ever since I started watching club football since, well, 2002, 2003. I love German football down at the local level domestically. I just love watching Bayern, and I like to watch Bundesliga football overall. And I like really how the team has grown, how they performed under the wing of Jupp Heynckes back around 2010 to 2013. I really enjoyed the 2013 Champions League final between them and Borussia Dortmund. Um, and overall, I like to see German teams do well in the broader scope of things, like, for example, the UEFA Champions League tournament. But my primary team is Bayern Munich. I've always been a very big Bayern fan, and I love Thomas Muller. International countries, I actually support quite a few teams here for different reasons. I support four national teams. One is the United States, since I live in the United States, born in the United States, raised in the United States. I always like to see the U.S. do well. I like that we're improving, especially from the time when I was younger. Uh, there's been a very noticeable improvement in American soccer from the early 2000s onward up until 2017. I think we are probably, I would say, when the United States plays its very best, a top 30 side in the world, top 30 teams. I think that's fair to say. Um, Another team that I really support is Egypt because half of my bloodline extends back to Egypt from my father's side, and I grew up in the 2000s with that golden generation that won three consecutive African Cup of Nations in 2006, 2008, 2010. That was a magical time for me personally. I was disappointed that we got to the final this time and lost because we're not used to losing finals of African Cups, but I was surprised, genuinely shocked that we even made it to the final this time after qualifying for the African Cup for the first time since we last won it in 2010. We've kind of been sitting in the darkness lately, not just in African football, but a team that has been in the decline since 2010, 2011. But we're in good position right now to qualify for a World Cup, and it'll only be the third time that we make it to a World Cup if we do make it, and it'll be the first time in my lifetime because last time Egypt made it to a World Cup was 1990, and I wasn't born yet. So if we make it next summer, it'll be the first time I get to see Egypt play in a World Cup, and I would very, very much love to see that happen. I love Egypt. I love the way we play. I just, you know, the whole family thing going on too. So it's also a personal thing that why I support Egypt as well. Um, the third team that I support is the Republic of Ireland, because from my mother's side, I have quite a significant amount of Irish blood in me as well. And Ireland is just one of those teams that are just exciting to watch. The fan atmosphere is awesome. You go to any international football game, Ireland has some of the best fans around. Just the sea of green in the stadium, and the singing and the chanting, and just like the cheery, joyous, like, the nature and the atmosphere of the stadium itself. Being around Irish fans, whether it's in the stadium or it's in a bar or a pub, and watching a game is just awesome. And I like the fact that Ireland is a very hardworking team. They're a team that is sort of similar to the United States in that they don't have very many superstars, but collectively, as a team, they are better than the sum of their parts, and they know how to grind out results occasionally against teams that are much better than them. Example being Italy in the Euro 2016 tournament last summer. So I love Ireland. I just think they're a great team to watch, and also because of the whole family thing. I love Irish culture in general, like Irish music, even Irish food. I think Irish food is awesome, and I just really like and I really admire Ireland. So you know those three that I just said: the United States being American, Egypt being half Egyptian, and Irish, both for the reasons I just stated, and also because from my mother's side of the family. And the fourth international team that I support, this is going to sound random to a lot of you, but it is a South American team, and that is Uruguay. I support Uruguay because I love the football culture in Uruguay. I love how they are one of the Renaissance, the original masters of the sport, dating back to the old days in the 1930s and the 40s. And I just love the whole, what they call Gara Charrua, the grit of the Charrua, how Uruguay is always a team that historically plays a defensive sort of brand of football. And I have a soft spot in my heart for defensive oriented style of football, because I always believe that defense goes a long way in winning championships. And I don't know. I don't know really why. I just admire teams that focus the heart of their identity. Because honestly, in international football, every national team, every country has an identity. And I love that Uruguay is meant on having a disciplined back line. And just the overall soccer history of Uruguay, it goes back way, like I said, to the ancient days. They're one of the founders of the sport, growing in popularity. I love how in Uruguay, it's such a small country with only 3 million people, but everyone there is like a maniac when it comes to this sport. And they're one of the most decorated teams in history. They have a total of 19 international championships, 15 Copa Americas, 2 World Cups, 2 Olympic gold medals. They've actually won the most titles in football of more than any other country in the world, with only a population of 3.5 million. Now that's staggering. That's very impressive. Yeah, and I also admire that they have that team identity where they just know how to play against their regional rivals and always be in contention, especially in regional tournaments. And when they made that run to the semifinals in 2010, I loved that. I loved it. It was sort of like a rebirth of Uruguayan football, really, after being sort of in the wilderness for 30 plus years. So I like Uruguay. And those are the 4 teams that I support. 3 for sentimental reasons, and 1 just because I like the culture surrounding their team. So leave in the comment section below, what club teams and what international teams do you guys support? And I'll look forward to reading them below. Until then, guys, see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Much love. Peace out.